Hello. Well, friends, we have not been putting out our regular videos for the last couple of weeks. And, well, it's brought up some thoughts and some,
Yeah. It's, of course, summertime and everything is busy being alive and flowering and fruiting. And, we have a lot going on as well. A lot of really fun things that we're doing. And it just seems as though one day we sort of looked at each other and said, oh, we didn't do our message yet. And then we started thinking about feeling pressure. Oh, we need to do that. And then we kind of reflected, but that isn't really why we do our messages. We're not trying to be slaves to the algorithm and make everything work and fit and always, be perfect. Um, there is, I think, a benefit to holding yourself to something and to seeing over time how a commitment can really kind of the rewards that you can reap from an exercise program or strength training or a musical instrument or a foreign language or any number of different things. And yet at the same time, there also can be the flip side of stress or even just maybe not taking the time you would to do certain activities because you have this other thing that's already filled your life or your schedule. Am I being cryptic here?
No, I think of it as there's. This happened with Real You videos, where I was holding myself to a schedule, and I felt like the quality began to go down because it was about getting a video out rather than making it really good and taking the time with it. And I think, we have this world that we've created, we humans, that works on a schedule and works on time. The forest monks who are here, who are one of the big things that we have going on right now, they don't live with a regular schedule right now. I mean, I meet with them certain days, and there's a vague time that we get together, but in general, their life is time free. And that creates a different experience of life. And I think, especially with our spirituality, we were starting to feel like we were putting something out there. This applies to all of life, as you'll see. We're trying to create something, to do something that wasn't right at the heart of what our spiritual journey is as monks of Divine Mother. And maybe I'd be safe to say kind of detracting from our own spiritual journey, and that we're taking energy and putting it into trying to meet a deadline rather than say, here's a message we really want to get.
Yeah. I mean, I think sharing these messages with all of you has been really special, and we love sharing messages. And it's been so fulfilling to have conversations with some of you and to go deeper and to share. And that's one of the things that I think in just our own practice together we miss is a larger community to share that with. But also at the same time, there is the sort of framework of technology that we're working within and the platform of how we're presenting videos that, again, kind of falls into the modern day, sense of we should have this regular, we should get this done, we should. And then, as you mentioned, then perhaps we, instead of being able to kind of simmer for a bit, I'd like to think of it as Walden, Thoreau went there to kind of take space from his life and think about, all sorts of things and be in the world. So it feels a little bit less like we can just be in the world until this idea comes or this sometimes just a download from Divine Mother, and we go, that we need to tell people about, that we want to share about. And so I feel that maybe we really wanted to be committed. We really want to share. It has been really enjoyable. And at the same time, we also then aren't getting that simmer time that might allow for us to have the insights. And so I think there's kind of two sides of the coin there for me. I feel both ways. Yeah.
So this is a long way of saying that we're going to be doing these videos when we feel inspired, rather than holding to a certain tempo.
Yeah.
And that we hope you stay along for our journey. But in addition, the more important thing here, I think, is that this is something we can all recognize about things in our life. When there's something, let's say we're in a marriage and we try to go every night on a Friday date with our husband or wife. That tradition can do two things. It can be this wonderful moment of connection that you set aside and becomes a time of beingness and togetherness. And it can also become a thing that you have to squeeze in and fit in.
Or cross off your to-do list.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the taskification of things that we've talked about before.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So, for those things that exist in our life that are on a schedule, can we make it that former that I was talking about rather than the latter that we were talking about here? So, watching for that in our lives. For us, that's really important and keeps us more centered in mindfulness and being, connection with Divine Mother, which can get lost when we have our to-do list and start putting that, making that more important.
Yeah, when we start taskifying things and feeling like something that is usually joyful is that, oh, I have to get that done. Oh, I have to get that done. Oh, I have to go, spend time with my kids. Oh, I have to go, do this or that. Not that we should always be comfortable, not that we shouldn't sometimes be like, oh, I committed to this. And because that's how sometimes we see what something means to us, is by staying with it. So it's for each thing and each person to decide. But I like to imagine that life is not. Oh, I'm sorry, look at the redheaded woodpecker. Okay, I'm distracted by the beauty. So I like to think that life is a lot like moving furniture around, in that we often believe that how we are, who we are, what we're doing right now is as though we have organized our living room. And the couch is there, and this is there, and this is there, and we're never going to move it again. Or if we do, it's going to be so difficult to move. I had a friend once, a number of years ago, and every time I come to her house, I swear to goodness, her sofa was someplace else, her television was over here, her, coffee table was over here, and I'm like, oh, I like what you've done. Just, I was just kind of getting tired of the way it was, and then I'd come the next time, and it would be someplace else. I was like, yeah, I decided I really wanted to look out the window right now, and, and it was very freeing to think of something that seems so heavy in our mind, how we should be, what we're doing, and realizing that we can organize it around anytime we want. And so maybe some of those things are more challenging than others, but to remember that we can take a break from something and we can come back to it. And there is that divine timing. If we have had so many times where something we thought we were done with, we're like, oh, we're grieving this, we're saying goodbye, this is the end of this transition, and that chapter of our life is done, and have come back to us again in a new way. And we're like, wow, oh my gosh. And so I think it's really important to know there's flexibility within what you're trying and what you've committed to. I mean, I don't know how that works in a marriage necessarily, but there's some things that it feels harder with, but there's always the ability to be playful, to communicate with other people around you, to say, hey, I've been finding our Friday night date nights can we do something different? Or how are you feeling about them? Or could we try something new? Like instead of going out to dinner, what if we, go canoeing? So just really remembering the playfulness, because when we commit to something, there's often a seriousness. And that seriousness, I think, is good in some ways because then we have a dedication. But on the other hand, it can detract. Wow. There's a lot to say there.
Oh. So we'll continue doing these, but we're going to do them when something has struck us and it's filling us up so much that it's overflowing, and it feels like it's clear enough in our minds that we feel like we can share it. So, oh wow.
Wow.
One after another.
I know. I wish we could somehow get video footage of all the birds and the flowers.
Telephoto.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And then, of course, shares always. If this resonates with you, if there's things in your life that have gone that way of becoming rote or becoming taskified.
Yeah, and what do you
if
do?
You can, how you find your way to.
How do you achieve balance or dance between balance and not balance? And of course, always if you have things that you are wondering, what our thoughts are, or if we've had experience with, feel free to ask. We love to have a topic of conversation. We have a whole list of things that we could talk about for a very long time. I think it's just more that right now we're in a place where we're in the abundance and the kind of splendid, messy chaos of summertime, and we're seeking a chance to have quiet places where we can connect with Divine Mother, with our spirituality. And so we're going to just use those times, keep ourselves grounded, and then, share when the iron is hot.
Oh, thanks for watching, friends.
Yeah, we're really, really grateful for each of you and for the reaching out that you've done and the sharing. And, this is not in any way an ending or a goodbye, but just an encouragement to keep on your own spiritual journey and to share it.
Love to you all.
Mwah.